I posted the wrong link, but I'm glad you're on. If you can hear me.
Ishmael? Hello?
I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I'm assuming he can hear us, but hopefully he'll be able to join us in a moment. Going back to the Lance Armstrong case, do you want to give a summary of what the case study revealed?
Yeah, I can give a summary. So what's the gist of it? Pretty much is Lance Armstrong, he likes cycling, and he was, I guess you can say, kind of exposed about doing some performance-enhancing drugs, and he did this big trial on it. He denied it a lot, but I think he admitted it. Was it on the Oprah show, right?
Yes. So I think that was his first public.
Like, of him like admitting it, right?
Yeah.
And then they had the trial and everything. Discuss it, and it wasn't just him, but it was like his whole team as well, right?
Yes.
That's pretty much the gist of what I got out of it.
Well, and there was also the beginning of it was a sort of his physical biology where he had a capacity, lung capacity that was higher than most people, and that's what makes him.
Do so well in cycling.
Yes, that's what makes a person able to do better or achieve more with cycling.
And also talks about like his like him getting cancer and all the other stuff too.
Yes. Well. And so he had to retire from racing for a while, and he came back. And he, because of the cancer, he was somewhat altered.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing an email from Ishmael that it's not letting enter the room.
Yeah, I'm seeing him enter and then leave each time.
So he's in. Maybe he doesn't realize he's in.
Probably. Let me try to send him the link one more time.
Just writing him that you can see that you are in, but no video or sound. Okay, hopefully he'll be able to.
Yeah.
Oh, who's there? Hello?
Hello.
Okay. Well, we'll just hopefully he'll be able to grab on. At least it shows that he's attempting.
Yeah.
You can get credit for that. So the first question is, what is his legacy?
Oh yeah, his legacy. I think his legacy was. Let me think. I would say more than anything. 1 second. Sorry, I took some notes on this.
It began with his natural ability.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was his comeback from cancer.
Yeah.
And the Livestrong Foundation, or the Lance Armstrong Foundation, he created as a result of his cancer treatments.
So I knew a little bit about Armstrong before reading this, so I was a little excited, but I didn't know like about all of what happened, like with him and everything.
Right.
Like it was saying, like he can't ever cycle again in any competition or anything like that as well. And I think that plays a little bit of part of his legacy as well, even though it's bad. Like I think he had a very good beginning portion of his legacy, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Then, like, he lost like a lot of fans, and a lot of people was disappointed in him and the decisions he made.
Well, and um, he had deceived a lot of people, not just fans, but and it's not just him alone. It was his entire
Team.
team of people, including the coaches, the sponsors, the doctors. Everybody knew about it,
Mm-hmm.
and um, it kind of. I think in not only did it tarnish his name, I think it really tarnished the sport.
Yep.
Because it called out everyone.
Yep. Yep. I
And
definitely agree.
um, so that's kind of, I'm trying to skim through the questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the most prolific cheating programs in the history of sports. And it says who suffered from his cheating. He did, but it was really the sport, and he took a lot of people down with him
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
unnecessarily.
Like, I
Um,
think, like, not only him, but like all the kids. I just think of like all the kids that like idolized him as
mhm.
like just as a person, but also like an athlete. Like me growing up, I had like a lot of like athletes that I looked up to, and stuff like that as well. And then I guess hearing from them, like hearing that he sort of like cheated in a way, um, kind of ruined his credibility as like a cyclist or anything like that as well. Because he was like really like he's like one of those stories where like he's really good at a young age because he was winning. Let me see. Saying he won like his first like triathlon and doing all this stuff as well at a really young age, and just giving those kids hope that they could do the same thing once they know like, oh, he used these performance enhancing drugs to do certain things. That kind of like, oh well, now I don't believe that I can do that as well now because he did it this way to get where he is, if that makes sense.
Right, that it's physically impossible
Mm-hmm.
for someone to do it without the drugs. And
Yeah.
he was saying, because in his answers to Oprah was like, is it possible for somebody to win 7 back-to-back Tour de France's? And he
Without on it.
no, but I'm like, well, if nobody doped, then you could.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Um, so the other writers, Hamilton, Landis, and those who testified, do you feel like they were too loyal to Armstrong or not loyal enough?
I I think I think everyone was a little too loyal to him. I think they all knew it was wrong and they shouldn't be doing it in the first place until it came to the trial, and that's when everyone kind of broke their silence and came clean within the trial, and that's where the like all loyalty went out the window. I feel like.
I think they realized um, that they probably should have spoke up sooner,
Mm-hmm.
but they also understand that they would lose credibility in doing so. So it hurt everyone,
It
and
wouldn't just hurt. Yeah. No, I
it
agree.
wouldn't just hurt Armstrong; it would hurt the entire team.
Yeah.
And I think they battled with the ethical decision themselves, and were told by coaches and people that they respected that it was okay.
Yeah.
But uh, I do think they were too loyal in a sense in the beginning.
Yeah.
And thinking about a situation where you witnessed a leader, formal or informal, make a decision for others that made you uncomfortable. What was the situation? How'd you feel about it? Do you have something like an experience you can relate to? I couldn't think of
Oh
anything.
yeah. I definitely can. So at my work, we recently came up with a new system, and it kind of ruined everything. So certain accounts they have like backdating adjustments, and every account should have some type of backdating adjustment when the loan capitalized or something like that as well. And with the new system, it kind of wiped away all the backdating adjustments. So I let the person who made the system know. I was like, "Hey, this is what's going on. Like, I feel like these balances that we're telling customers are incorrect. And I let them know, and then nothing was done about it. It was like, oh, the system fixed it, but then I kept finding errors and errors about it, and I was like, well, we're sending these customers wrong information because this is definitely not their correct balance on it. And the situation, like the the whole thing came down to them doing nothing about it and saying that everything works perfectly. And that was a decision that I didn't make, but I had to kind of deal with because there's nothing that I could have really done with it. If that makes sense.
You're like, make note that I said something.
Yep. I sent emails and everything to make sure like I said something when this backfires.
That's
So,
funny because in my job too, I'm like, I send an email because I want proof.
yep, yep. You need documentation of everything nowadays. Whoops.
Hearsay is not what it should be. I guess I have something somewhat similar that's currently going on in my office. It's not to that degree,
Mm-hmm.
but I work for a community college, so we have student records, personal information, social security numbers, all kinds of things that are very classified private information.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a policy for how we're supposed to lock down our personal area, how to lock up our offices, all of that, because it has there are federal and penalties, I guess. It's called the Rights to Privacy Act. And a couple of years ago, they implemented a new system for keys
Mm-hmm.
around college. So we have electronic keys and we have the old school regular keys, and they're keys to departments, keys to offices within those departments, and then even like keys to um, drawers and bins and cabinets within that department. And so a few years ago, in order to regulate things better, they required everybody to turn in their keys and start a new system where you had to request the key and have it checked out to you, like a library book almost.
Mm-hmm.
That way they had record of who has keys to what. But because hasn't always been the implementation, there were people who had master keys that refused to turn them in because they didn't want to lose. They knew they wouldn't have rights to check them out
Yeah.
again. So they kept them. One of them being one of my coworkers. she
Uh-oh.
even admitted she even admitted to me she's and it comes down to like people feeling like they're losing their access, but they don't understand the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like it's a breach of security, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because if you were to quit or retire or whatever, no one would know. She would not be held accountable for those set of keys because it was never recorded that she had them. And so I became the I'm the opposite. I love rules.
Yeah.
If you tell me there's a rule, I'll do it. So I turned in all my keys, even though it's a pain in the butt. I turned them all in and then did a formal request and went and checked them out, and I did everything I was supposed to do. So and I was out of town that when we had to switch nights like two
Yeah.
weeks ago. I found out that while I was out of town at a conference that she needed a key of mine and went through my drawers looking for my keys.
Oh
And
no.
so I was really mad because I'm like, I will share, I'm a nice person, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
go in
Personal stuff and
my
certain
desk
things.
and help yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
so with that, I met with my boss and my boss's boss about it, and I just said it was like a breach of privacy, and not to mention the fact that I know she has these keys she's not supposed to have, and so that implemented a department key audit, which
Yeah.
now everybody in the office is going to be stripped of all their keys.
Huh.
And but in reality, a couple of days ago, and the two are not related, it just was a coincidence of time. The college sent out a revision of the policy for keys, and it talks about like there's certain keys that you have to have background checks and fingerprints for, and if you are caught, if you violate any of these rules, you can be terminated, and there may be legal ramifications. So I was like, I'm sorry, I guess I'll be the flag bearer, but I mean, I'm instigated an audit that's going to stop people from swapping keys in my office. So I may not be the favorite person,
But you
but
did the right
not
thing,
right.
though.
I'm the whistleblower. That's the word. Like, enough is enough.
Yeah, definitely. No, I definitely agree.
So
And
that's
like,
exactly doping, but it's you think of it as such a simple thing, but then I think about it and I'm like, no, we have social security numbers under lock and key.
mhm,
So yeah, you have to have permission to have that key, and you know you're out of compliance, which is not okay.
yeah,
All right, you have a meeting in 3 minutes, right?
yeah.
um Based on what basic principles guide your integrity? And I'm kind of skipped a question. Are there times when there's gray area, and how do you make the right choice?
So for me personally, I think the two things I picked two. That kind of balances my integrity. The first one I'm kind of talked about is honesty, and I also put my is communication as well. I feel like honesty and communication, um, there shouldn't be any gray area because you should be able to talk everything out and come to an understanding on why certain things are a certain way or why you should do something a certain way or something like that as well. And if you're communicating correctly with other people, um, like I said, there shouldn't be, oh, I feel like we should do this. Like say for instance, your story, if the lady was honest and communicated why she wanted to hold on to the keys, um, her supervisor or higher ups would have told her the reason why is because we have secure documentation of or secure documents or the security risk for doing so, and then she probably would have understood why. And for me, that would have been enough to say, okay, I have to do this because of these reasons. If that makes sense.
Well, the other consequence is the person who originally did request the key will be held responsible for it, even though they are no longer have possession of the key. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not only her that she is incriminating, it's also those who gave her the keys.
Mm-hmm.
There could be legal ramifications for them. So it's like, it's not just about you, it's about, it touches other people. Like Lance Armstrong, like he took down his team.
Yeah, his whole team, which it's just I think it's just a sad story all in general. Like,
The sad thing that I walked away with from that is he crucified those other people for speaking against him.
yeah,
And I didn't really get the sense, and granted, it's just a case study. I didn't really get the sense that he was apologetic towards them for making them look so bad and destroying their names. He just basically said he lied to people.
yeah,
I'm like, oh, this part of me would be like, you owe me an apology, buddy.
yeah, definitely. All right,
So
Adam.
pretty much the gist.
Yep, yep.
So I'll
All
go ahead and email it out, and then I'll put something in there that we could see that Ishmael was popping in and out. So that's proof enough for me that he was trying.
yep. So, all right. Thank you so much, Natalie. Sorry, I have
Oh
to.
no, you're fine. Have a good night.
All right, you too. See ya.
Bye.